My friends, throughout the last night there were many juicy attacks from Ukrainian side to the Russian occupied side, and we'll go through all of them and then we will analyze one of the biggest attacks in the few days. You remember the attack against Berdyansk airfield, where at the same time there was an attack against the Luhansk airfield also, but I didn't talk about it because Berdyansk overshadowed it all. Now we actually have satellite imagery of all of the knocked out cold Russian helicopters, and it's juicy and it's beautiful and we'll get to it. But before, Sevastopol. In this video and photos you can see smoke rising from the 3,413th engineering missile station of the Russian Federation in Russian occupied Sevastopol, after a Ukrainian sent object landed there. We can only assume that Ukrainians just sent a present, but it exploded, kaboom, surprise. The unit number stationed there is 13189, and you can see the geolocation on these photos. Okay, the videos and the photos that are there, but let's go to the map, because I can just use this map to illustrate. I'll zoom out for you, you can see the location. This is Sevastopol, this is where most of the Russian Black Sea Fleet is supposed to be stationed, but they moved it. But still there are many very important and juicy targets in the area. For example, this missile station right here, which is now smoking like a nice crispy steak. And if we zoom into it, we can already see, look at this, even if we're not talking about the missiles inside of these houses or hangars, however you call them, because they do have missiles because it is a missile station. Let's talk about these trucks. I mean, sorry, these are not trucks, these are missile carriers right here actually, they're so big. These are trucks. So there are plenty of missile carrier trucks here and just regular Ural trucks and logistics trucks. Just a few hits here already would decimate the Russian logistical truck fleet in the area. So it is a very well picked target, and I cannot really confirm how many of these trucks are now smoking or knocked out cold, but something smokes there for the longer period of time already. A very successful attack on the very right location. Russian missile station in Sevastopol. If we zoom out, we can see that it's pretty far away from the front lines. Now I cannot confirm that this was done with a new attack mess. I would think it's done with a drone, because Ukraine is able to produce drones that can fly more than 150 kilometers, which is this location here. I would say it's a drone. But if it smokes, it's good enough for me. My friends, after tomorrow, that means Saturday, 21st of October, you're gonna see the most insane documentary of my last trip to Ukraine. We did things unspeakable. It sounds wrong, but it's really awesome actually. Definitely check on my channel on this coming Saturday, and if you don't know what to expect, here's the trailer for you. Boom! You can fix this car with a beer can. Terviseks.
It was a Lada.
It was, yeah, you can see. There's like a pink dildo underneath there. Oh! I'm dancing around there like a little girl, you know?
Kick me in the dick, I'm alright. It's the balls, you know?
Slava Ukraini! If you cannot wait and want to see the footage sooner, then head on to my Instagram, link is in the description below, because there I post everything in real time when it happens. Much of the stuff is actually happening now that you will see in 1 month. I'll see you in the Instagram. Now my friends, at the same time that the Berdyansk airfield was attacked and 9 Russian choppers, including the Ka-52, was knocked out cold like a juicy burning steak, there was another attack at the same time to Luhansk airfield. And now Twitter account Tatarigami has given us a beautiful thread summarizing the attack with satellite imagery. I'll read you the thread and you'll be a lot smarter about the incident after this one. But before I'll zoom into the location so we all know what we're talking about here, this is Luhansk, the city. Yeah, city of Luhansk in Luhansk Oblast. And south of the city is this airfield right here. I'll zoom into it. And boom, this is where all of the choppers were stationed, many of them. Much like the Berdyansk airfield, this one was also filled with choppers, like they have no care in the world, just bunch them together. The visual evidence from the Planet Labs imagery at our disposal shows that a minimum of 5 helicopters have experienced varying degrees of damage. There's also a chance that other airfield vehicles have been affected. But the current resolution makes confirmation difficult. So we have visually confirmed 5 choppers knocked out cold. This is in Luhansk airfield, in addition to the 9 in Berdyansk. I mean, this was the single deadliest day for the Russian aviation in this war. In the October 18th imagery, scorch marks from explosions are evident on the airport apron, confirming the deployment of the previously reported M39 attack MS missiles with nearly 1,000 anti-personnel and anti-material bomblets. What he means is, you see these little dots right here, these black little dots. Of course, this very big black burning mark here is from a chopper, but these black little dots are actually the little small bomblets from the Block 1 M39 attack MS. It's cluster munition signs on the pavement or on the tarmac. To rule out the chance of these scorch marks being old or from previous shelling, we've included imagery from October 10 for comparison. In that imagery, you can observe various pre-existing scorch marks and oil stains, but there are no signs of extensive explosions. As you can see, no little bomblet explosion dots on this tarmac, so it's clean. After the attack, boom, it's suddenly filled with these small dots, and we know attack MS was the one used, and it's a cluster munition, so you put A and A together and voila. By analyzing scorch marks, patterns and submunition characteristics, we've concluded that avoiding damage, especially for larger objects like helicopters, is highly challenging. This is supported by secondary indicators like rotor absence, leaks and missing parts. Rotor absence is, this one right here. It's a helicopter, but doesn't have rotors. I guess they were damaged and they were already removed. But the weird part, what the Russians did also in Berdyansk, is after this attack, they did not actually remove the helicopters. They left them there, the other ones also. Yes, you heard correctly, all of the choppers in Berdyansk and in Luhansk airfield that were just attacked are still there. They have not been moved. And for you to understand better how this thought process works, I will now reenact you the dialogue which happens on these airfields. My commander, helicopters just were attacked. Explosions everywhere. Oh, 9 helicopters were destroyed. We should move the rest of them so we can save them. Ivan, ты козёл, блядь, have you not heard? Lightning never strike twice in same location. They attacked us already. Now we know, okay, we can keep our stuff here because they're not going to attack again. Bring more helicopters into this location. Yep, at the beginning months of war, I remember covering Antonovsk airfield in Kherson. Actually, there was, Antonovsk airfield in Kherson, like there is one in Kiev. And the story with that is, with the 6-month-long period, Russians kept bringing their helicopters into the area and Ukrainians kept destroying them on the ground, much like here. And Russians kept bringing more and more, like they just forget, like they have the fish memories, like, there was no attack recently. These burnt helicopters, I let them be, bring more. And I think about 30 to 40 Russian helicopters were destroyed only in Antonovsky airfield on the ground in the 6-month period. Same situation here. In conclusion, the attacks in both Berdyansk and Luhansk were successful despite being protected by various air defense systems. Again, like I said in the last video, both airfields are strategically very important and therefore were protected by Russian early warning radar systems and Russian anti-air missile systems. Both systems did not react to these M39 Block 1 attack MS missiles, which were made in the 90s. So this is insane at itself. Russian modern radar systems and anti-air defense systems cannot take down these long-range attack MS, which United States has a lot. This is great news for the United States and now great news for Ukraine, and horrible blow for Russia. My friends, 36th and 37th Ukrainian Marine Brigades have crossed the Dnipro River and have already liberated a settlement called Poima right here. They have enlarged the bridgehead that the Ukrainians had here before, and this has gotten the Russians into full panic mode because this area of the Russian front line is defended only by territorial defense brigades, which are weak less motivated and less equipped. I will now read you a report translated by Dmitry of a Russian officer in the area. The information that became known by yesterday evening about the expansion of the zone of control of the Ukrainian armed forces on our bank of the Dnieper. Our bank? My friend, you are in foreign land, go home. Indicates plans to create a real enemy bridgehead for further actions. Thank you, Captain Obvious. The Ukrainian armed forces have concentrated several brigades of Marines to cross the Dnieper. The pontoon fleet, German-made, is estimated to be several hundred units, and there are countless boats on the other side. Now, if the officer now means that the pontoon bridges that Ukrainians have, they are German, that these Ukrainians have several hundred, then is delusional. Unfortunately, Ukrainians only have a few of them. The Germans themselves don't have that many of them, and they couldn't give all of them away. The very fact of the presence of the armed forces of Ukraine on our shore, your shore, my friend, you have to go home, is not news. The armed forces of Ukraine have been sitting and getting hit for months at the Antonovsky and Zhelezhnodorozhny bridges. However, the movement of the reconnaissance, electronic warfare and communication systems to the front line of defense is a clear sign. Also, recently there have been attacks on our rear areas. Oh no, the Russian rear areas got penetrated. Oh no. In order to disrupt logistics, communications and command and control troops. Of course, the command in the direction does not learn the news from Telegram. It has a plan and it is strictly adheres to it. Of course, the command, so the officer is present, is like, okay, trust in the big guy. Putin and Shoigu, they know what they're doing. The Ministry of Defense has a plan. My friend, I hate to break it to you, they don't have a plan. They don't have an idea what they're doing. This is all news to the Putin also. Putin probably very angry that this bridgehead even is forming and they cannot do anything against it because they would need capable forces in the area, and all of the capable forces are in Kupiansk and in Zaporozhye front, and everything they would want to send in the Kherson front would have to be taken away from those fronts, and Ukrainians would advance in those areas. So they have no plan. They have no plan B. They have no way to react to it, just to hope that Ukrainians cannot advance. In that report, I can smell a little bit of a panic and a little bit of that wishful thinking that, okay, the big guys above must have a plan because we are screwed here, but they know what they're doing. They don't. Now, my friends, yes, we go to Avdiivka. The battle is still going on, but the most active phase of it has ended with huge Russian losses. And again, we have every day coming out new information about losses that now are being visually confirmed because there are just so many of them, you cannot confirm them all with one day. The satellite image you see here, these losses have all been confirmed very recently, but these losses happened almost a week ago. It's just so many of them. If we zoom in, you see this is the Terikon, the coke mountain, or however you call it, the waste mountain of the Avdiivka's Azovstal, the coal plant. This was Russian main goal because it overlooks Avdiivka. Now, as you can see from this photo, they put everything they have to take this Terikon. But as we can see from the losses, let's zoom in to the closest, Digr. We don't see Russian Digrs much anymore because most of them were destroyed at the first months of war. Very capable vehicle, but very easy to destroy. Then we have bunched together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 vehicles in the 50-meter stretch of this road to Terikon. If we look, there's BMP, Ural truck, MTLB, a tank, Ural truck, BMP, T80, Ural truck. So this is, most of it is armored and there's some logistics Ural trucks here. I don't know why Russians sent Ural trucks to take Ukrainian-held frontal positions. I mean, I wouldn't do it. It's a soft target. But I mean, it's Russia. I mean, I don't have to understand. Now we go 50 meters back from this road, and then we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we zoom in, we see BMP, 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 BTR, BMP, BTR 50. Now this was, I'm not kidding you, this was the very first BTR 50 ever seen destroyed in this war, because Russia now started to use them, and this gives us a clear sign of their armor vehicle storage. BTR 50 is the first BTR to come out. It came out during the Stalin era. It is old, it is outdated, it's a relic, it's an antique, But it works. Russia has them, some of them, and they have brought them out. Now, the fact is they would not bring out these museum pieces if they would have BTR-70s in abundance. Newsflash, they don't. That's why they brought it out. That's why it got destroyed here. First ever BTR-50 destruction in the Russo-Ukrainian war happened near the Terrikon, near Avdiivka. And then we go 50 meters back and we see BMP, BMP, BMP and BMP. And the whole stretch of this road is about 300 meters. Now this is just one road out of 4 to 5 roads that they assaulted from. And every one of these roads has about 1 click to 1.5 click gray area where Russians were knocked out cold, their vehicles. So this is about 1/5, 1/6 of the losses here. And there are many losses over the fields also. Altogether, it has been reported now that Russians lost about 200 to 300 armored vehicles in a week assaulting Avdiivka, and about 4,000 men knocked out cold. One of the biggest and most losses heavy battles for Russians in this war. My friends, the YouTube overlords have confirmed and allowed me to show this video for you. Now this is a Russian BMP going to the frontal areas in Avdiivka, and many troops will come close to it. We'll analyze it closely, but before I want to show you where it exactly happens. See, this here is Avdiivka, and there's a restaurant Tsarka Ochota right here, and this a Russian line right here. There's a small road that leads to the restaurant on the southern eastern part of Avdiivka. Now this BMP is exactly here. I'll get a better photo for you. That's the restaurant. That's the first Russian position of the Russian front line. Here is actually a bridge that you can't really see very well. And just before that bridge, that's where the video happens. And that bridge is like it's destroyed, of course. It's like a Ukrainian kill box. Everything and everybody passing through will be knocked out cold into minced meat. Now let's watch the video. Now this video is a Russian BMP driving close to the bridge. See, this here is the bridge, and on top of the BMP, Russian style, is about a whole squad, 9 to 10 troops on top of that BMP. Nobody wants to drive inside because if BMP or BTR or a tank gets hit with a mine, Soviet vehicles I mean, there's nothing underneath the reinforcement that vehicle. So if you're inside, you will be knocked out cold. If you're on top, you will be fine. So they prefer to ride on top, even in the danger of Ukrainian bullets, than to be inside. 10 troops on top. Now this is a Russian frontal positions. This is a trench line going left and right on this video, as you can see. And what is happening actually is BMP stops, the squad disembarks, and as you can see there are many of these. And as you can see, white right here, this is an injured guy and this is an injured guy behind him. This is a frontal medevac. Ukrainians do it the same way. Now a squad disembarks, takes a surrounding defense, the position, how you call it in English, I don't know. And immediately heavy wounded, heavy 300s or wounded or Raias are brought into the BMP to be pulled back to the field hospitals if they have any. And this is what we're seeing here. First of the wounded one can run. He's loaded, let's see, on or on top. I think he's loaded inside. Second one cannot really walk, so 3 guys have to carry him. And this is incredibly important. You have seen countless of these drone videos. They explode and they don't really knock out cold. They just injure a kneecap or an ankle, you know, small drones, small bomblets. But this is the outcome. The guy cannot walk anymore and he has to be carried. It's not lethal, but you take 3 guys out of the battle because 3 have to carry him and the 4th one is wounded. So one of these very small bomblets takes a half a squad out of the battle, and this evacuation procedure has to be going on. So these very, very tiny bombs or grenades, they're very effective in taking out Russian troops from the battle. Now here we see beautiful aerial shots, Russian trench line. Medevac is finishing, all of the troops are being loaded onto the medevac. The squad went into the trenches and now the medevac actually pulls back. I would call this a nice and effective medevac procedure. I cannot really criticize anything. Well done. Hate to say it, but well done, Russians. See, I was surprised actually. I expected to see a lot of panic and a lot of, I don't know what to do, Ivan. But everything was kind of smooth. The whole process took them like 5 minutes to 3 minutes. That's how it is done actually. So unfortunately, Russians can learn. But they cannot learn this. My friends, this is a Ukrainian warrior, Ukrainian R2-D2. It's actually a mine-laying robot, an anti-armor mine-laying Ukrainian robot, and it has been observed by a Russian drone. And they're watching it like they're in Stone Age, like, what is this? Mine laying, we don't have. It has placed a mine, you know, because they don't have stuff like that. I really like the idea of it because laying these mines results in countless Russian armored losses and vice versa actually for Ukrainians. But if you can lay these mines very close to the front lines without setting your men in danger, only this robot, well, then the Russians, first of all, might not know that their mines are there. And secondly, you don't lose men. That's something the Russians don't care about, but Ukrainians do. This is why Ukrainians have this robot and the Russians don't, because they just sent men out. My friend, Zaporizhia was recently under Russian missile attack, and here we see the rescuers digging out this cat. She's fine, but she's very scared. I want to show you these videos every once in a while to give you a little bit of a human aspect of this war and seeing how Ukrainians react to it. They save animals like they save people, and I haven't seen the same kind of videos coming from the Russian line. And believe me, I do watch Russian military bloggers, and I watch Russian sources just to get an idea of what they report. It's weird, they don't share videos like this. I don't know if they don't rescue animals, or if they don't care, or if they don't want to see this, but Ukrainians only share these kind of videos. And I like to see them, it gives me hope. Also, it gives this cat hope. This cat is alive, thanks to these guys. And now, my friends, my favorite part of the video, butchering the Patreon names. Tier 10 and above, and I'll be butchering your name also. Let's go. Paul Krautsky, Ferenc Tais, Dennis Hortopagi, Levis RPL, Digital Dave. Thank you to these 5 people. If you like my channel, you know what to do. Until my next video, which will be tomorrow, and then after tomorrow on Saturday, the very cool Ukrainian documentary. Be here. Until then, my friends, Slava Ukraini. Bye bye.